Hi everybody, we have a bit of a different video from Isle Doodles today. I'm Claire and I'm here with the 9 puppies from our box of chocolates litter. These puppies are 6 weeks old and today we're filming in our doodle den. So the puppies are all loose, as you can see, they're all running around, and we have a blanket here. And the reason we have a blanket here is because we are going to give you a little bit of a demo video on how to teach your puppy to eat bones. And so we have a whole bunch of chicken neck bones ready for these puppies, and I'm going to show you how to introduce bones to your puppy. Now, you may think that your Labradoodle puppy doesn't need to be taught how to eat bones, because don't all dogs know how to eat bones naturally? Well, they do, but they do need a little bit of help because we want to make sure they're not gulping them, and we want to make sure that our puppy has the right idea about how to eat the bones. Now, what about chicken bones? Lots and lots of people look at me with their eyebrows raised and say, "What do you mean you're going to feed the dogs chicken bones? I thought chicken bones were dangerous for dogs." Well, they're not. Bones, as long as they are raw, are safe for dogs for the most part. It's when bones are cooked that we run into problems. And those are the types of things that previously we used to give our dogs. So quite often when I was growing up, if we had a roast of beef or if we had steak for dinner, after we'd finished eating, we would give the bones to our dogs. And it was always thought to be fairly okay to give them beef bones, but never anything that was chicken, because the chicken bones would splinter. Well, in actual fact, any bone, once it's cooked, will splinter. And those are the things that a lot of vets and people are familiar with in terms of being problematic for bones. It's the cooking that causes the problem. Just like the cooking takes out the nutrition in a dog's food, cooking the bones takes out the nutrition and causes potential issues. So we want to feed bones that are soft and really easy for puppies to eat. When puppies are young, they don't have as much jaw strength as they will when they're older, and their teeth are still coming in too. So we want to be sure we're using a bone that's nice and soft, also a bit smaller in size and easier for them to handle successfully. So chicken is the very best option for that. Cornish game hen and duck are another example of 2 things that are great bone options for your puppies. Now, right now, we have COVID going on. There is a pandemic. And because of that, Cornish game hen and duck is in very short supply. And why is that? Well, that's because those 2 products went primarily to restaurants. And because restaurants are closed for the most part, many have not been able to survive the economic crisis that the pandemic has caused, there isn't the demand for the Cornish game hen and the duck. So the producers of Cornish game hen and duck have stopped producing them, and therefore there aren't any available for dogs either. Sorry, we have Mr. Light Blue Collar eating the microphone, so sorry if you got a little bit of garble sound there. So these puppies, as you can see, are all really lively. They're having lots of fun with each other. You'll hear them growling with each other. You'll see them wrestling all the time, and you'll also see that they're biting me all the time. This is when everything goes in their mouths. This is when they absolutely must chew and they must bite. Hey. And sometimes if we have a little bit of an uneven contest or something going on where one puppy's being hurt, then we will step in. Otherwise, we let the puppies do their own thing, let them figure out who's who in the group, and let them just resolve all of their issues. Hello. So let's start with giving some bones. So these puppies have had some bones or have not had bones before, So this is going to be their first experience. So these are chicken neck bones. Lovely, small, very nice and pliable. And you can see already they're all out here. So I'm going to throw some of them out here for some of them puppies. Now, the reason I have this blanket here is because when you're feeding your puppy bones, you want them to be eating them on a surface that you can easily clean up afterwards. So here we're going to use you guys, if you all have used your Labradoodle brains, the bones are over here. Look, over here. We're going to use no collar boy, as our doggy example, I think, here. And so what you want to do when you're teaching a puppy to eat a bone is you want to put the bone, introduce it to them in the side of their mouth. Now you'll see he's really anxious to get it. There we go. Right in the side where the big molars are, and we're going to hang on to that other end of the bone. Now, if touching raw food bothers you for any reason, just put on some disposable gloves, just as long as you have a good grip. And see how he's chewing there, and he's just sort of getting the idea of, well, this tastes good, not too sure what to do with it. And the reason why we want to hold on to it and introduce it at the side of their mouth is because we don't want them to try and gulp it. Now, another really important tip when you're feeding your puppies raw bones is you don't want to feed them the bones when they're really hungry. So not before a meal, because then they will again tend to gulp it. So when these puppies get their meals, they go right to them and they start chowing down right away. I'm going to let him have the bone now on his own and see how he makes out. We'll let him do it. Here, right here, right here. You have to use your brain. You've got a brain. And he may want me to hold it. And sometimes, there you'll see he's dropped it. There we go. Now he's picked it up and he's got it. Sometimes they don't catch on right away as to what it is you do with the bone. Now, because I have a group of puppies here, I have more bones than I have puppies. And that's to avoid any issues with puppies feeling that they have to have an argument over who gets the bone. We don't want to ever be doing anything that's going to encourage any sort of resource guarding. So we always make sure when there's something that's a treat, a bone, food, that there's more than enough to go around for everyone. That way we don't have issues. So you'll see they're all settled down here pretty much. And you'll also notice that they're all wanting to eat on the blanket. Now this is a natural dog behavior. They all like to take their bones to somewhere that is a blanket, into their crate. Our dogs have their own furniture. They have their own leather Chesterfield because we can clean the Chesterfield easily. And they like to sit on top of our adult dogs, and eat their bones there. If there's any sort of bed or blanket, that's where they'll take their bones. And you can see on the blanket here, of course the bones are making a mess. And so that's why I say you want to have something that you have for your dog where they can comfortably sit, work on their bone. You can keep an eye on them to make sure that they're safe and that they're not doing anything silly with their bone, and that you can easily wash later. Now you'll see Orange just had a change of bones there. That's okay, everybody has one. So we have 9 puppies and we have, I believe it's 11 bones out. When you have just one puppy, you just need one bone. But this is why we have so many out when we have our group, so nobody's having any problems. Now you'll see how quiet they all are, how involved they all are. This is just something that's right up their alley in terms of giving them satisfaction for that absolute need to teeth and chew and bite all the time because they're teething. And so it's just like with kids when they put their fingers in their mouths and everything else, and you've got to get those teeth coming through. So that instinct is overwhelmingly strong. Now I want to just point out a little bit of body language that's going on here. If you'll look at No Collar Boy, who's the tricolored, and then in the middle we have dark blue collar, who's the tan, and then we have light blue collar there on the other side of tan with his head facing me. Oh, he's going to move. These 2 puppies that are side by side there. Hello, sweetheart. Are you showing me your prize? Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. What a good puppy. Now this is something that's very nice to see. When your puppy is willing to share their big prize with you. This is a puppy who's confident and secure in the fact that none of his things are ever going to be taken from him. And we try to instill that in all the puppies. They've moved again, but you can see these 2 puppies are touching each other. In dog language, that's how they communicate complete trust. This means that these 2 puppies are probably very close friends within the litter. Now, light blue wants to eat on top of me, so I'm just going to keep my hands here so he can access his bone and sit on me. This is not uncommon when you have a puppy who is quite people orientated and quite people bonded. They like to sit on top of you if you're available. So if you don't want the bone all over you and your clothes, then I suggest you have your puppy on their blanket and your X-Pen around them so that they're not getting it all over you as well. And you can see we have our X-Pen right now. It is in a great big space just so it's not interfering with the video. But were this one puppy and we would have the X-Pen right around this blanket, I'd probably have the blanket folded in half and then the puppy would be on there with their bone. This is also a great way for your puppy to start to learn to be really happy on their own, some alone time. Because if the time they're alone means they're getting something they really enjoy and a treat, yay, then this is a fun thing to do. And they're never going to feel like it's, ouch, that was mean, not the bone, silly. They're never going to feel like you're trying to not spend time with them at all. Orange Collar's lost her bone. So I'm just going to redirect her over here so she can find one, hopefully, or she may just run around and try and steal everyone else's. They also like to, as a group, when they're in a group like this, they also like to play tug. And often, just like children, if you have it, then I want it, because yours may be identical to mine, but because it's yours, I'm sure it must be better than what I have. And so you don't have one, so here you go, here. There you go, there's one. Good puppy. That's a way yellow. There you go. And we just let them chew away happily. Now it's not likely that these puppies are going to finish these bones in the amount of time we're going to do this video. Usually a bone like this can keep them occupied for about 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes they'll get bored with the whole idea and just say, okay, well, that's enough of that. So you want to have something else available for them too if you're wanting them to stay on their own for a longer period of time. And sometimes they'll be really devoted, really enjoy it, and they'll stick with it for the full 45 minutes or so. After that, their attention span is not going to, it's going to wane, and they're going to lose interest and want to move on to something else. They are babies after all, so their attention span is very short. This is really a good way to see too, when you're trying to teach your puppy something, that again, even though it's something they absolutely love and it's wonderful, their attention span is short. We've only been doing this a few minutes and already they're moving around and starting to look for something different to do, even if it's just a different position. So what do the bones do for the puppies? Well, the bones provide them with so many bonuses. Besides the mental satisfaction and besides the teething aspect of it, bones have the perfect balance of minerals, there you go, and vitamins that allow your dog to actually absorb and properly utilize the calcium that's in a bone. Lots of times people think you can just give your puppy a calcium supplement and then whew, you've got the calcium needs met. Well, that's not true, because your body will just get rid of the excess calcium unless you've got all the other things that you need for the calcium to be absorbed. So things like phosphorus, vitamin D, vitamin K, and so on. All of those need to be present and they all need to be balanced properly in order for your puppy to be able to utilize that calcium well. So that's why we just don't have a calcium pill that we throw in their food and call it done. So we want to do things like give them all sorts of natural whole food sources of calcium, bones, raw goat milk cheese, tripe. All of those things all are natural foods, naturally occurring, and naturally give your puppy what they need in the proper balance. So that's why it's so critical, as well as they love it. It's really good nutrition for it, and it keeps those little sharp teeth busy, and it gives you some free time because they're occupied while they're doing this. Now, I also had some treats that I was going to show you how the puppies enjoy having treats and how to use treats in conjunction with teaching your puppy to come when called. But they're also interested in their bones that we'll leave that for a different segment. And you can see light blue collar is bound and determined that he's going to sit either on me or beside me and put his bone on my blanket, not his. So this is a dog who really enjoys doing things with his people. Orange collar girl here on my lap, she's twice now left her bone. She's done with that. She doesn't find it all that fascinating. She would rather come and have a hug and a snuggle and say hi to me. Now, some people worry about the hygiene aspect of the bones, because here you have a puppy who's just eaten a raw chicken bone and they want to kiss me. Of course they want to kiss me, or bite me. Mostly they want to bite me. No, I don't want you to bite me. Go bite the bone. That's what the bone is for, silly. So you want to redirect them back to the bone or the toy, whatever you have when they are trying to bite at you. It's a little bit hard to distract 9 of them, but when you have just one, it's a bit easier. Here, not my shoe, eat the bone. Good boy. So what do we do about the face and the fact that they've got raw all over their fur and all over their mustache, and they want to come and give me a great big kiss? All right. So what you want to do is have a washcloth for your puppy, just like you have for your toddler. You know how much mess a baby makes when they're first learning how to eat, and you don't want them to be kissing you either and smearing you with all their food. Blech. Neither of those things are very pleasant. So just have a washcloth. It just is water and warm water, and you just wipe their face off just like you would with a child, and that's really easy. Now, if you really want something different and you're still worried about it, you can get face cleansing wipes for your puppy. We actually have some at Curated Canines. They have a nice lavender scent, and they're designed to be gentle. I use them more when the puppies have mud on them and I want to clean their face or their paw, but they also work really well for just washing off their faces. The other thing you want to remember when you clean their face is to dry it. Dogs absolutely hate being wet in this area of their faces. So they will then go, if you wash their face and don't dry it, quit eating the microphone. Why are microphones so appealing? Oh my goodness. They will then go into your house and they will drag their face all over your carpet, your furniture, your pant leg, and preferably something that's light colored and maybe silk. You know, we wouldn't want to do it where it wouldn't show up. So you just want to make sure you have a towel and you give them a good drying off all over their face. Oh yes, just like that. And then they aren't going to be having that sort of behavior all over your furniture and your carpets, because that's not usually what we all want to have our dogs doing. So that's your little video today. It's not a formal update. These puppies are all going to have their wellness exams on Monday, and then on Tuesday they are going to be allocated and their families are going to find out which puppy has chosen which family to go home with. Today is Wednesday. They turned 6 weeks old yesterday. They're all doing great. You can see they're all a nice weight. They're all a bit messy right now. They haven't had a bath. I like to delay bathing them for as long as possible to protect those gentle, sensitive skin and coat that they have. But on Sunday, we will give them all their very first head-to-toe bath. And that will also form part of our assessment. How they respond in the bath and how they respond to the blow dryer all tells us a little bit about their temperaments. So that information will form part of our decision making when we are assigning the puppies to their families. So we hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about bones, raw food for puppies, anything about Labradoodles, please feel free to post your question in the comments below. I'm always happy to answer any questions you might have and share information on Labradoodles and raw food for your dog and raw food for your puppy. And you know, I think I'll try showing you these treats here, because some of them have given up with their bone already. So these are her Puppy Love freeze-dried liver. This is what we call a high-value treat. This is something the dogs really love. And they already know, as you can see, the sound of a treat package. So what we do when the puppies are out and they're loose and we want them to come in and be corralled, we go puppy, 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 and then we put the treats out all over, go puppy, 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 puppy. So they learn when they hear those words, that means there's treats coming. Right now they're not too sure where to look for them because normally I'm not sitting down here and distracting them. So this is a high value pure liver treat. It's all sourced in Canada. It's all manufactured in Canada. There's nothing that goes into this other than beef liver that's dehydrated. And it's all made in Fort Macleod, Alberta. And you can see that the puppies really enjoy eating these. and they're just got enough teeth where they can manage these now. They come in a nice, fairly small size. They're random sizes, but you can see they're pretty small, and if you're using them for a training treat, they're really easy to break into a really small amount. So one piece of this can easily become 3 treats. It's not hard to break, and they don't smell bad, and they're easy to keep in your treat pouch, keep in your pocket, have available for whenever you want to give them to your puppy. Hey, you're being silly, Mr. Light Blue. You have to look, it's right here. Oh, you're so silly, you can't find where it is. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me, that's so silly. Mr. Light Blue's too distracted to find it. And we'll just put some out on the blanket here for everybody to sniff around and enjoy. Get the idea of it. We've just started giving these to them because we wait until they have good teeth, because we don't want them swallowing these whole either. So there you go. There's some goodies that help your puppy be happy and healthy and help deal with those baby piranha teeth, the little razor blades that they have going on in there. And this really also provides so much mental satisfaction for your puppy. Just remember, when you are giving them things like this, you are always supervising them. You don't have to have your eyes on them constantly, but you don't want to be walking away and leaving your puppy with a bone and not having your eye on the puppy, because things can happen and you want to be there and make sure that you can look after things. Now you know how to introduce a bone to your puppy, what to do so your puppy doesn't gulp a bone. And you can see they're all fine now. I'm quite confident that they all know what they're doing. Nobody showed me any big problem about trying to gulp it or not have an idea of how to eat it properly. So I don't feel like I need to do any remedial training with anyone. But this is a wonderful thing to do with your puppy. Just sit and share the experience of chewing the bone just by virtue of the fact that you're hanging on to one end of it. Also teaches your puppy really quite easily not to be a resource guarder. So we hope you enjoyed the video. If you have a sec, give us a thumbs up, and the next video for this litter will be airing on May the 11th, which is Tuesday, and that will be our allocation video. Thanks so much for watching. There you go. Oh, yeah, oh, come and give me